between you guys, and how did that affect your play the rest of the game?
I don't think it affected my play at all. I thought I played as hard as I can today. Listen, Tom Brady's a great quarterback. I never really saw that side of Tom Brady, to be honest. But whatever, no comment. It's over with. I'm done with it.
I love Tyrann Mathieu. You can't say no comment as the final two words of your answer. You've already commented on it, but it was a stunning moment for me. And let's get right into the fill in the blank, because that's the first subject. The Tom Brady-Tyrann Mathieu trash talk was what for you, Charean?
It was unexpected, I thought, Mike. There's players out there that I thought would do the trash talking. Those probably aren't the two that would be at the top of my list, trash talking. And I hope one of them ends up was mic'd up, or somebody was close enough who was mic'd up that we get to hear that whole exchange at some point, because I want to know how it started and what was said. And I don't know right now, and I don't know if you have a better feel for it than I do, of who actually started it. It almost looked like maybe Tom Brady started that. I don't know why, but they both went at it for a while. And I was surprised that Tyrann Mathieu was the one that got flagged on that.
Well, we talked about that earlier today on PFT Live. It's not the guy who starts it, but it's the guy who finishes it who ends up getting the flag. And for me, that incident was the moment. The instant I saw that yellow glove with the finger pointed at Tom Brady, that was the moment that I said, holy crap, the Bucs are going to win this game. Now, I wasn't far out on a limb. It was 21-6 or 20-6 at that moment. But that, to me, was a reflection that the Chiefs had been broken by the Buccaneers, that this isn't the team that you can rest assured is going to find a way to come back from any and all deficits. It wasn't 24-0 down to the Texans. It wasn't 10 points down to the 49ers with 7 minutes left in Super Bowl 54. There was always a swagger to the Chiefs, even when they were losing, no matter how badly they were losing. That moment to me was they've lost their swagger, they've lost their edge. Tyrann Mathieu was trying to will it back by getting in Tom Brady's face, regardless of who started it. When I saw that, that was when that little voice says, that's it, it's done. You were right, the Buccaneers are going to win the game, but you were wrong to think it may have been a Chiefs win or a Chiefs blowout. The Bucs are the ones that are going to get the easy victory today.
And I'm not prompting Tom Brady, Mike. That's the last thing I want to do. We know how much he has a chip on his shoulder even now, and how much he's motivated by other guys talking to him and chirping at him and all those sorts of things. So I'm not inciting Tom Brady if I'm any one of those Chiefs players at all. That's not what I want.
I remember all too well the 2007 season when the Patriots were undefeated. The Steelers went up to play New England in December. Anthony Smith, former Steelers safety, guaranteed that the Steelers would win. Tom Brady picked on him all day long and got in his face. I mean, Brady is capable of that. Now, I'm not aware of anything that Tyrann Mathieu said, and maybe there was something that got back to Brady privately. I don't know. Now, it's been leaked that Brady apologized to Tyrann Mathieu for instigating that outburst. I don't know why that's not something Brady could come out and say on his own, but I guess the incident's over. Tom Brady has apologized, even though Tom Brady wasn't the one who drew the flag. There was another taunting incident involving the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. This time the flag went on the Buccaneers, and this time the Buccaneers player had no apologies, no qualms, and no regrets. Here's Antoine Winfield Jr. talking about the foul he received for throwing up the deuces at Tyreek Hill, who is well known for throwing up the deuces at everyone he runs away from.
The taunting, man, it's something I just had to do. When we played him earlier, Hill went off on us. He backflipped in front of my face, gave me the peace sign. So it was only right that I gave him the peace sign right back to him. At this moment, it felt amazing to be able to do that. Not even going to lie.
He's going to get fined, but he doesn't care. But, Tyreek Hill always gets away with that. He runs away from guys, and he throws up the two fingers as he's running into the end zone. And look at that. That is great. And, he was doing backflips. He was doing gymnastics routines the last time he was in Tampa, and these Buccaneers players remembered it. So when it got to the moment where it was done. Now, Antoine Winfield was smart enough not to do it when the game was still kind of in dispute. He waited until very late in the fourth quarter to throw up the deuces. But he was waiting weeks for the opportunity to give it back to Tyreek Hill, Charean.
Oh, there's absolutely no question. So I got on last night. I'm writing this post, right? I had listened to Winfield, and so I'm writing this post. So I went back and I watched the first quarter of the Week 12 game, and he did. It was on the 75-yard touchdown, I believe was the one where he threw up the deuces. And then on the next touchdown, which was like 34 yards or something like that, he stopped before the goal line and did the backflip. And it was all up in Winfield's face. So I thought it was deserved, Mike, and I chuckled at it. I thought it was pretty funny. I guess if you're a Chiefs fan or a Tyreek Hill fan, it wasn't quite so funny. But, you know, if you're a Chiefs fan, you go, oh, that's great, ha-ha, it's funny. And then when Tyreek Hill gets it done to him, it's not quite so funny. Well, no, that's not funny at all. Well, you can't have it one way. It's either one way or I mean, it's got to be both ways. So, you know, I thought it was well-deserved. I laughed at it, and we'll see what happens from there. But it will be interesting if he gets fined for that, because you're right. Tyreek Hill did not get fined. He has gotten fined before for throwing up the deuces, but the last time I could find was like 2018 that he got fined. I went back and did a search. So I don't think he's gotten fined for doing that over the last couple of years. The NFL's kind of stepped away from that. So I hope they don't fine Antoine Winfield for doing the same thing that Tyreek Hill didn't get fined for.
By the way, Chiefs fans, the appropriate Twitter handle to which you should direct your comments is at NFL Charean, Charean, not at Pro Football Talk. You can have fun with them for a while instead of me. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun moment, and Winfield wisely waited until it was too late for the Chiefs to do a damn thing about it. One thing the Chiefs didn't do was target Carlton Davis, who had been torched last time around. Not targeting Carlton Davis was what, Charean?
I thought it was a huge mistake on the Chiefs' part, because Tyreek Hill did torch him in the first quarter of that first game in Week 12 and had 203 yards in the first 7 catches, 203 yards and 2 touchdowns against Carlton Davis in the first quarter of that game. And part of it was they got pressure on Patrick Mahomes. We talked about this a little bit in the first segment, but Mike, the 29 pressures were the most in Super Bowl history. He was running for his life and had trouble getting enough time to get the ball down the field to Tyreek Hill. But they absolutely should have found Carlton Davis on the field wherever he was, whoever he was against, and targeted him. I think they would have much better success targeting Carlton Davis.
I mean, one thing that they got away from that worked so well against the Bills, those little short passes to Tyreek Hill, where he just starts spinning guys around, right, making grown men look like little kids who can't barely walk. I mean, we saw none of that. We saw none of it. And, I was stunned that they didn't continue to go after a guy that had such a hard time the last time around, although with double coverage. But you know what? It's Tyreek Hill. Who cares about double coverage? It's Tyreek Hill. It's Patrick Mahomes. Triple coverage. There's still a window there into which the ball can be thrown. Right, here's Devin White, the Buccaneers linebacker and defensive captain, talking about the team being underdogs for Sunday night's game.
How personally did you and your teammates take it and Todd Bowles take it that nobody was talking about how good this defense was?
I mean, we didn't take it personally, but it was just crazy to us that we were still underdogs. We defeated Drew Brees. We defeated Aaron Rodgers. And then we was like, he was the MVP, and we still was underdogs. Man, we just knew we just wanted to win the Super Bowl. We didn't really care about what the media was saying, because the media not out there on the field. Hey, so like I said, man, we don't even keep score. We just run that shit up and leave.
You know, it's funny. That's similar to something that Todd Bowles said to Peter King, that the guys read everything and they watch TV, and they were pissed off. Sorry, London. That we're not on London on Monday nights, but sorry anyway. That everyone was picking the Chiefs and no one gave them a chance to win, which is just Michael Jordan level bullcrap. It was not, you know, we've seen the pregame shows where it's unanimous that one team's picked across the board and the other team gets pissed off and wins. There were people out there that thought the Chiefs were going to win. There were people out there that gave them a chance, but they got themselves cooked up into a frenzy, Charean, that they were going to be disrespected and no one believed in them. So anyway, to get to the final point, the Buccaneers beating Brees, Rodgers, and Mahomes was what?
Well, first of all, Mike, I guess that means they don't watch you, because you picked the Bucs throughout the whole entire season to win this thing. So I guess that's what that's saying.
That doesn't help motivate anyone. That doesn't help motivate them.
No, it doesn't. But beating Brees, back to the point, beating the quarterbacks they beat, Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, I thought was quite a feat. When you look at 55 total points they gave up in those 3 games, 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 750 yards. It was amazing, the defensive effort they had in those 3 games. When you start talking about the MVPs and the Super Bowl MVPs and all the records and everything else that those 3 guys have done, it was amazing, Mike.
Oh, and underappreciated is my word, especially in the NFC Championship, because look, we will praise Tom Brady where praise is merited, but also he stunk in the second half of the NFC Championship. He threw interceptions on 3 straight possessions, and the Buccaneers defense on the last 2 stepped up and held the Packers and forced a 3-and-out and had sacks on each of the 2 drives. But for the Buccaneers defense stepping up after those Tom Brady interceptions, number 2 and number 3, it would have been the Packers and the Chiefs on Sunday night, and there's a good chance the Chiefs would have gotten revenge 54 years later for Super Bowl number 1. All right, Rob Gronkowski's throwback performance last night was what, Charean?
No, I thought it was vintage, Mike. And we've talked a lot about he doesn't look like the same guy he was even a couple of years ago. But he did torch the Chiefs twice. He was a big factor against them, obviously, yesterday. But he had a big game. It's his only 100-yard game in Week 12. He had 106 yards against the Chiefs in Week 12, 7 touchdowns in the regular season. He was kind of and I guess he brought leadership to that locker room, but he didn't make many plays on the field. But I thought he did that in the Super Bowl. He made some big plays to the Bucs, and I thought he was a difference in the game, Mike.
He picked a hell of a game to finally stop creating the impression that he's running in mud. And maybe it was a very long con on all of us that he deliberately slowed down for 18 games. And then in game number 19, game number 20, right? 20 games. Game number 20 is the one where he found the gas pedal and played like he used to play. So awesome stuff from Rob Gronkowski. He probably will be back for another year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last one real quick. Signing Leonard Fournette was what?
Well, I thought it was fortuitous, Mike, because Ronald Jones was banged up in the postseason. He only had 35 touches for 139 yards, no touchdown in 3 postseason games, where Fournette really, to me, looked more like the Fournette that we saw at LSU. He averaged 20.5 touches in the postseason, 112 yards per game, and 1 touchdown per game. He had 4 total touchdowns in the postseason. I just thought he was really, really good in the postseason, and it was big that they had him because of Ronald Jones.
Yeah, look, to me it was typical of the 2020 Buccaneers. They were going all in. It was Gronk. It was Antonio Brown. It was Leonard Fournette. It was guys who were going to make this team better. We find a way to make it work. Leonard Fournette got more and more opportunities as the season unfolded. And it gets back to that point. Guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Russell Wilson, looking around saying, what are we doing when these players are available and they're just sitting there? What are we doing to improve our chances of getting to a Super Bowl and winning it? Because what the Buccaneers did, and I know there are some executives around the league that say it's not sustainable. Well, you know what? It may be sustainable into 2021 and possibly into 2022.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.